What up? Surprise, surprise. What up, dog? Sorry I missed the 6 o'clock. But we're here anyway. Finishing it off this evening. It's been a while since I've done Chalet Reynard. I'm looking forward to it. Ah, Tom, you don't have to watch me. Oh, my legs. How are we all? Welcome to the stream. No, my that's not my actual heart rate. My heart rate is more like 90, but it's doing its usual thing where it seems like whenever I've got it sweaty, the heart rate's all over the shop. Just needs a bit longer on my arm. Nice one, Niall. I'm not going to come anywhere near that time, don't worry. Was that a new subscriber I heard? Oh, Colin, you're not alone. You are not alone. It's been freezing cold here too. God, this heart rate monitor is having a real hard time, isn't it? What's going on? Garage, settings, pair. Okay. Do your thing. Oh, there we go, it's come down a bit. Still not exact though. Let's go up again. Ah, there we go, that's better. Heart rate's coming down. Eating chocolate, watching Ed. Am I near Bike Park Wheels? Yeah, that's it's about 20 minutes, half an hour's drive away. You'll love it there. I'm assuming you're going there for some mountain biking. Or just for a holiday. Let's get this fan hooked up. Otherwise it's going to get very hot very quick. Very hot, very quick. And I will be very stuffed. Alright. Let's enjoy this one as well as I can. Nice one. Yeah, kind of benchmarking. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I'm also making a video of the whole week, so well, yeah, we'll know by the end of this effort how the video is going to turn out, but hopefully it's an insightful one for me anyway, but hopefully it'll be just as insightful. So I'm assuming everybody's enjoying the tour, the Zwift. Lots of different styles of stages. I missed the Richmond one the other day. Oh, nice, trying to do all three options. That's very interesting. So I've done my 3 tests, and I have a ballpark number in mind for a 30-minute effort that I'm planning on doing. Well, I say a 30-minute effort, but however long the effort is, it's going to be between 30 and 40 minutes from the very bottom to the very top. I'm going to try and hold that number that the model has thrown at me. I'll just see how accurate it really is at predicting performances or things of that nature off the back of those 3 tests. So we'll see. Should be interesting. I'm looking at around 350, 360 watts for that duration. But I'm not at quote-unquote race weight, so it probably won't be as fast as my PR. But yeah, we got to take down the chin this time, yeah, and just focus on the watts. The watts are the watts. Nice, Adam. Yeah, I've got my trainer difficulty set really low, so I'm not going to be affected by the gradient. So I'm able to just sort of hold whatever I want to hold. So yeah, no stress. No stress in that regard. But kudos to everyone who's already done it. You can chill out now, ahead of the next stage. Those of you that have been watching the live streams the last couple of days, you'll know what sort of numbers I produced, so you'll see how that in turn will materialize in this effort as well. Like, you'll see how, like, you know, I kind of monitor myself really closely, and we'll see just if I've got anything left, how much I can lift it in that final 5-10 minutes, and we can actually compare that with what I've done over the last couple of days, and take, you know, a bit of real life, well, we'll be able to see it in real time, like my ability to raise the roof, if I've got the ability to do that at the end after sticking to the target wattage. And that'll be a really awesome thing to see. But I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. At the same time, it's about just trying to stick to target wattage and ride my own pace. I mean, this section here in particular, the reason why I'm not going in that front group is, one, it gives me some bit of chase, and two, it gives me a bit more of a gradual, a much easier running to the climb, because, you know, obviously if I was going in the front group now, I might be, you know, obviously having to make a few accelerations and things. So just riding my own steady, just staying within myself right here, so that I can just get this effort done with a bit more consistency. I mean, if I was quote unquote racing, obviously I would push myself to be in that front group, and then, you know, whatever happens on the climb happens on the climb. But we're here to try and test something, so that's why. Ah, good show, Gareth. Good show, thank you. You're right, Charlie probably wouldn't want to be on camera. I don't blame her either. Hey, evening, Phil. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. I know a couple of you saying I'm just going to like tear off at the start, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people, you know, remember it's a very long climb, very long effort, even to this halfway mark. You know, the first climb up with the TKOM, I would say, you know, people have a good chance of staying in blobs. It's not until after that point, obviously, it starts to get a bit hard. Yeah, Ben, well, the whole climb will be 30 minutes. Yes, I've been watching the Tour Down Under. Hey Josh, evening. Sorry, my talking is about to end soon. Don't think I'm going to be able to saddle much on this climb, so just keeping my backside nice and soft, ready for the next 30-40 minutes. I bet you didn't think you'd come here to hear that. Okay, we can't be that far from the climb now. Haven't hit it from this side in a long time. Yeah, J Vine riding very well. Spoiler alert. Okay, I'm assuming we're about to start. Wait for the gradient to kick in and then we'll begin. And then here we go. Not now, Josh. Yes, I leave my chain. It's just my microphone is very good. Much love, Ben. Thank you. Phil, thank you. Frederick. Good job, Jan. Good job. Huge. Excellent motivation. I'm doing a test jump. Thank you. I stick it. Well said, Phil. What are you doing? Guys, I appreciate the comments during the stream, but like the whole like trying to work out if somebody is like legit or not, that's just knocking on the head of it. Because it's like, obviously I can see the chat, but like it's yeah, we're just riding our bikes. Oh my word. No guys, no need to apologise, no need to apologise, just I know it's the heat of the moment, I know you all enjoy watching me, you know, rinse myself, but like if people are climbing with me, you know, we got to give benefit of the doubt to everybody, because, you know, at the end of the day, to put it into perspective, like this is middle of January and I'm doing some of my best numbers that I've ever done indoors, and people can quite rightly question me. So, you know, we don't know anybody's circumstances, we also don't know how fit they are, you know, at this moment in time, mainly because this whole thing is virtual and we can't see the other person, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, don't point fingers, everybody, don't point fingers. It's you know, I just don't want people to fall out and stuff, and you know, it's it is what it is. Anyway, no, nobody's upset, nobody's upset. I've actually, just to add to that, there's 400 of you here. Thank you. One small favor, if you're still here, like the video, subscribe. If you're commenting in the chat, then you've already subscribed, but I really appreciate it. Wow, it's that was a deep one. Give just a brief overview of that effort, because I'm going to make a video of this whole week of digging myself into a bit of a hole of these tests. Brief overview. Yeah, amazing legs. Certainly felt very good, probably up until about 6-7 kilometers to go, and then I started to, you know, you might take this as a joke, but I started to suffer. You know, there's that balance of like, you know, you're obviously riding on the limit, but you know, you'll notice that I didn't really up the pace until right at the end, because the effort is so long that the effort will catch up with you. You know, if you ride at 350 watts for long enough, like in my case there, you know, the first 10 minutes is going to feel easy, but you know, as that time progresses and the seconds tick by, it gradually gets harder and harder. You don't have to up the power, the body like meets the effort, you know, the effort meets you and it hits you right in the face. And that is when it really starts. You know, there's that saying, what is it, Muhammad Ali was saying things like, I don't start counting my sit-ups until I start hurting. You know, at the end of the day, it's cliche, but like when you get to that point, you're like, this is when it starts. And you know, having the rider behind me, jammed behind me, actually really pushed me on, and it was actually like a really awesome thing to have. And then gave me some encouragement in the chat, and I was about to sort of, that wasn't my cue to press on, but I certainly felt like it was around about that moment, like 4K to go, that I was intending to throw away those thoughts of like, up to that point you're just trying to think calming thoughts, you're trying to think, you know, breathing, you're trying to think, you know, just, am I comfortable on the saddle, am I, you know, are my hands sweat, you're just thinking about things because you're ticking over, you're just on that edge. And then when you decide to then go, right, you know, F it, it's now like I don't think about anything. I just focus about going, you know, as hard as I can to empty the tank. And that's when it really happens then. And that's when, you know, obviously my graph started to go red. I hope you enjoyed that little insight. I mean, it's become a thing at the end of my streams anyway, that I usually talk about it, but yeah. Right, now I can concentrate on the chat a little bit. But that's the end of it. That's the end of, you know, these last couple of days. This ride tonight concludes that. So I can sit down tomorrow and I can put the video together and I can just recap everything that is everything that has happened. Thank you to the people who donated as on the live chat. Thank you for that. Actually, I can actually see on the chat, like when, because it comes up obviously in the box. It's easier to see than all of the all of the little white. To me, it's just white writing on a black background. It's very difficult to read. Yeah. So, okay, the numbers. I'll be interested to see number crunching tomorrow when I sit down on the laptop. Tonight, I'm just gonna get off the bike and I'm gonna vegetate on the sofa and try and recover from it and recuperate tomorrow. So let's have a look at the graph. Let's have a look at the graph. You're shouting. I can hear you. I can hear you all shouting through the screen. Graph, graph, graph. So here we go. This is going to be a... I'm going to put it out there now before we click on graph. I'm going to put it out there and say that this is likely to be an all-time best 40-minute power, because it took me 40 minutes 37 seconds to get from the bottom of the Petit KOM to the finish. So yeah, considering the run-in was done well, not in a mediocre pace, but it was with the group, a couple of groups behind. So here we go. Oh, good grief. So here we have it. Steady rise in heart rate all the way to that last 5 minutes maybe. You might notice as well my cadence is really steady throughout, obviously because my training difficulty is set to about 25-30%. But this last bit here, I knock the cadence down so that I get well, it puts the load more on the muscular system, and it just allows me to keep myself in check. And then yeah, I just went for it in the last bit. But here we go. Critical power incoming. There we go. I knew it would be. So that, fun fact, that is actually more power than I did up when I did my fastest time up Alp to Zwift. That is more power than I did up Alp to Zwift, but for 5 minutes longer. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm sorry, Scott, you're watching out for next week. I kind of knew that would happen, based on what I've done over the last couple of days and what critical power was telling me. But there we go. I mean, $40 was the actual effort, so that 363 for 40. And on my auto power meter, I've got 353 for 40. So virtually 10 watts off. So that's pretty decent. That is Actually, saying that, that might be an all-time best. I can't think of a climb that I've done, or an effort, or a time trial that I've done. It's been 40 minutes, and I've averaged over 350 watts. So I think that might be an all-time. What you've just witnessed there is potentially my best ever performance, indoors and out, that I've ever done over that time duration. Potentially. I can't say that for certain. Sorry, I'm just reading through some of the messages here. I appreciate. I want to get to them because they are pretty interesting questions. Yeah, dual recordings of the new Wahoo. They're like 10-15 watts difference. The Wahoo's always higher than my outdoor power meter. Yeah, pre-season not bad. Given the TT, surely that is FTP pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much FTP, if that's what you want to call it. Reckless of weight training, I mean, in terms of efficiency and things like that, potentially, obviously, raw power is different. Who knows? Like, it could just genuinely be the fact that I'm, 28, getting on for 29 years of age this year. Been training consistently for 10 years, touch wood. I've been very fortunate with consistency. Yeah, it's not as black and white as that, but, people preach about consistency, and that's about as, that's context for you, basically. So maybe it's just that. I weigh about 63 kilos at the minute. 63 kilos is what I've set my Zwift weight to, plus or minus a couple 100 grams for the pre-race toilet I had about half an hour beforehand. Ed, do you think in a race scenario the adrenaline could generate an extra 1 or 2%, or is your training performance equivalent? I mean, no doubt, David, like streaming it and doing the effort is probably giving me a an extra 1 or 2%, but it actually prepares me for the outdoor world. Like if I race in front of people on hill climbs, or if I do events where there's people supporting, it actually prepares me in a weird way when I stream in front of you lot. So hope you're still building, not peaking yet then. Well, given that I've done, okay, if you look at my training over the last 2 months, it's been a little bit unstructured. I've just been trying to get out on the bike and trying to get volume in, and it's been hit and miss because I've been ill for like a week, and obviously Christmas and things, and I did the festive 500 with some people outdoors, so it wasn't like it's been like 90-10. Like an awful lot of my stuff has just been low aerobic base, so it's kind of interesting how things are playing out. So it's going. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen over the next couple of months, and stay healthy, stay injury free, and all that. Like what I can do this year from a personal performance perspective. Hey, thank you, Kim. Thank you, Phil. Privileged to watch live. Thank you, David. Thank you. Have you seen the 5 days on 2 off? Saw Dylan Johnson talking about seeing something to try. Yeah, it's a good question, that Josh. I'm in a position where I could test it, but I don't know if I'll test it yet. It's somewhat very similar to block periodization in a way, isn't it? I mean, you could definitely do a big block like that. But I know he trains like that almost every week. So not quite block periodization. You must have a big year planned. Just see what I can do, Ian. I don't put too much pressure on myself anymore, because I did that last year, and health comes first and all that stuff. So it's kind of like I'm trying to balance it, because I just want to be healthy. I just want to ride my bike. I just want to push myself every so often. and challenge myself, and that's about it, plain and simple. So yeah, we'll see what the year throws at us. Certainly, Emma, certainly. No, it's not an amateur question at all. So the trainer difficulty is set to 30, well, about 30%. Just because it gives me it gives me a bit more control over the cadence, basically. So even if I rode that climb at 100% trainer difficulty, I would pretty much do the exact same performance, but it would probably feel a little bit different. Like, I would have to use my gears more, obviously, and I might end up having to ride in 70 RPM a bit more, just because of the gradient and the gearing. So to sort of flatten the climb out and to make it feel a bit more, I guess, like personal to what I'd be doing outdoors, because I do a lot of climbing in the big ring when I'm outdoors. I do a lot of climbing, you know, long sort of consistent gradients of 5 to 6%. So given that the most of that climb is about 10%, riding at a lower trainer difficulty basically halves the gradient. So just gives it a different feel. You know, it's the same, power is power, but it just gives you a different feel. And for me, when I'm doing a test, indoors anyway, it just gives me a bit more control. So it's personal preference at the end of the day, except if you race in some of the higher sanctioned races on Zwift, you know, like, you know, Premier Leagues and things like that, they tend to assign everybody with the same trainer difficulty. So, you know, that's fair enough. It keeps everybody on a similar playing field, I guess. It's not like, it's not the same, but it's similar, because different trainers are different trainers. But yeah, it's personal preference. You know, every day is different for me. I do a lot of climbing in the big ring. Sorry. Sorry. So yeah, let's end on this then. So what am I having for dinner? We're having like a tofu miso bowl. So there's like well, some kind of spicy tofu mix with edamame. Am I saying that right? Edamame beans, and yeah, just some nibbles. Charlie's on it. I could actually smell halfway up the climb. I could actually smell it wafting through, and it's like I got the window open so it could just leave the room straight away, because it was starting to get to me. Yeah, that's a real good question as well. Sorry, I was supposed to end on that dinner question. Yes, like a lot of well, it's personal preference again, like climbing in and out of the saddle. You know, I can climb out of the saddle, but like with an effort that long, generally speaking, staying in the saddle is just a bit more energy efficient. Obviously, if you're outdoors, you might have an aero penalty by being out of the saddle, but indoors, you know, obviously that doesn't happen. But I certainly think, you know, I think the more you can stay seated, and I was starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. I'll be real honest with you, starting to get a bit uncomfortable because I was sat right on the edge of the saddle for virtually 40 minutes. I know if I get out of the saddle, even if it's just for 20 seconds, my power drops ever so slightly, and I sort of lose that rhythm, and my breathing, you know, gets out of control a little bit. And I can practice that, yes, but in a test situation like that, I want to try and keep variables very much the same, so stay seated for as long as possible, And it's something I'm known for, is staying seated for the majority of effort, really. I think as well it comes down to a lot of the road racing I used to do, because it was always drilled into me that, like, you know, stay aero to save energy, you know, surf in the bunch, and like try not to make big surges when you're in like a road race, because you're always trying to save yourself for like the last climb, or, you know, the last sprint, or that crosswind section. So you're always trying to save energy, and that's almost been drilled into me from a young age. So that's probably another reason why I stay seated. Well, Emma, instead of riding up it, drive to the top and then ride down, and then you'll get a feel. You'll have to ride back up to get back to your car. Yeah, for sure, David, for sure. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Dead proud of myself, dead chuffed, and really happy with the way that turned out. So difference between my 20-minute power. So 20-minute power is 356. 30-minute power was only 2 watts less, and then 40-minute power was virtually the same, 1 watt less. So between 20 minutes and 40 minutes, I'd only lost 3 or 4 watts in 20 to 40 minutes. So yeah, I call that a successful test. Very successful test. So thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I might catch you on the flip side on the weekend for a live stream, but if not, I'm going to get this video out from this week. It'll be really interesting, no doubt, so I will see you then. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming.